Hey everyone, welcome back to Rob's Car World. Today's top pick is a 1980 Saab 99 GLI. I found this car, where did I find this car? On Facebook Marketplace. This person has owned this car for 35 years. Let's go check this car out. The car here is on Facebook Marketplace. Been here for a while. You know, he's asking $8,000. He's listed it 6 weeks ago. I'm hoping it's still available. And it's located up in Massachusetts, which is a famous place for old Saabs and old Volvo 240s up there in the New England market. This car is interesting because the same owner has had this for 35 years. And it's the original paint because I asked him. And the car appears to be a very nicely presented automobile with some surface rust he mentions in the quarter panels. And we'll get into this car real quick. When I looked up Saab 99, yeah, this car was a lot of firsts. You know, this car, when it first came out, if you on Wikipedia, the car came out in 1968 and ran through 1984. And when this first car came out, it was goodbye to the 2-cycle engines, and it was a four-cycle engines were produced. Front wheel drive was continued. It didn't have the freewheel function that the Saab 9.6 had. We had that Saab Sonnet a couple of weeks ago, which has that freewheel option. That was gone. The car was more or less split in half and divided, made it wider, made it longer. It was almost considered a full-size car in Europe. Here, it was considered more or less like a compact type car. It came in a 2 and a 4-door, and it came in a Combi Coupe as well, which rare to find these days here in the United States. They didn't make many of these cars, and not many were brought into this country, even in the 1980s. You know, the 1980s was a time, 70s and 80s was a time when you had a foreign car from another country, it was foreign. You had to go to a foreign car parts store to get spark plugs. And, the internet wasn't around. And, people looked at you kind of weird. Who is he driving a Saab for? There's so many Lincoln Town cars out there that you could be driving. But this Saab 99 was Saab's first real entry into the we're serious about building car business. And this 99 was that car. And it made that type of impact, especially in Europe. Not so much here in the United States, because not many were introduced. But it was a front-wheel drive car. The engine was in the longitudinal position, pre-transverse engine. It was that same thing where the clutch was towards the front of the car rather than the rear of the car. So when you open up the hood, the first thing you saw was the clutch and the transmission right there in front of you instead of a fan unit. Kind of strange, but this is how these cars were packaged. The bonnet, the front hood actually was front hinged, which was kind of cool. It gave you a lot of access to the inside of the engine, including the big wheel well arches that you would see right away. And the front screen was almost, in its vertical position, which gave you a lot of visibility, a big greenhouse. Made entry and exit very easy to get in and out of the car. So this was an interesting car. When I looked at what happened, what was new in 79 and 78, they added a turbocharger version of the 99 Turbo. That was Saab's first turbocharged engine, which was kind of cool. This car is not a turbocharged model. This car is a regular aspirated engine. That's why he's asking $8,000 for it. We'll get into the pricing in a little while. By 1979, 10,000 turbo Saab units were built. I don't know how many came here in North America, but you don't see many Saab 99 turbos. You'll see a 900 turbo. That was the one that really took off. That's when the word turbocharged really took off, when the new Saab 900 turbo was born. And that had that little ducktail spoiler in the back and things like that. This car is none of that. This car is the previous generation Saab 99. Which has a lot of attraction as well. The 1980 model year, basically, they changed the front seats. They put different protective stripes along the sides of the car. The spare wheel was changed to emergency unit. Carpeting was changed, yada, yada. Not much was changed, which was kind of like Volvo. A lot of these cars will carry over. Oh, and there's that 5-door estate, the Combi that they built in this car. You don't see many of those at all. So getting into this price of this car, and let's read the description. The person selling his 1980 Saab 99 This person's been on Facebook 2015. He appears to be legit, which is nice. Always garage kept by me and most previous owner, and he's which accounts to the last 35 years. Some minor rust starting to pop up. One spot, driver's quarter panel and both door bottoms, and he's giving repair panels included with the sale. It's nice that he says all that because, if you're going to take a trip to Massachusetts to look at this car, it's nice that he's giving this disclosure. A long list of upgrades, which is really cool. You can tell he's an enthusiast. A few things that still need to be done. Headlights are out. The right rear reverse bulb is out. The right corner arm bushings are worn and clunking. So he's looking for somebody to be the next owner of this car and take good care of it. So it needs some attention. It's drivable, of course. You can drive it and make it like a daily, but there are some things that he's just not willing to do or doing right now. So he must be tired of the car. You might be able to work out a deal where he'll repair those things for you, and this way you could take it home and everything's operating. Getting into the photos of the car, not many photos included. The bodywork looks very straight. I don't see any dings or dents. The door panels, everything looks like it aligns. Comes across to be an honest looking car. The front bumper has a little, looks like it's pointed up a little bit. I don't know if it was hit. I don't think that's the way it's designed from the factory, so he might have just had a little damage there because these had these little strut towers there, and it might have bent. So that the front bumper looks like it's pointing up, but it just could be just me. The rear bumper looks nice. You can see the rust here in the quarter panel that he talks about. It's not through, but it looks like it's popping. But at least it's a original car. I'd rather see the rust than have the car repainted with the rust being hidden. So the seats interior look great. The seats don't look like they're ripped. The door panels look great. The dashboard looks original. He's put an aftermarket wheel on it. It looks like it's a manual transmission, which is really nice. And you can see how big the entryway is for this car. I mean, it's like getting into a pickup truck. A lot of easy access to get your legs in and out. A lot of headroom and a lot of visibility, which was the hallmark of, Saab back then, and Volvo as well. The Volvo 240 has that same type of greenhouse, so to speak. Again, nice interior, nice seats, very sporty looking on the inside, and rear seats look very nice. Seat belts and all. There's the trunk. Looks like a newer battery. I don't see any rust in the trunk. There's a spare tire from the factory. So this looks very original. I don't see too much. I see a little shafting here, but I don't see any rust, major rust around the inside of the water channel here. So you can tell that the car was garaged. And there's the engine bay. That's the engine bay here is basically, it's an opposite end. And it does have the radiator here in the front. But this is where the transmission is right here. So the car is facing the opposite way. You can see the alternator's facing the firewall. So these cars involve a little, technique to get in there and get working on them. Somebody wrapped the exhaust system up. It looks like a header system that was added later on. And he put some heat wrap on it. People do that to keep the heat away from the inside of the car. Everything looks kind of original in there, but it's complex. It's interesting. It's foreign. You got to dive your hands in that thing. It's like working on a 1980 Saab. You need to find some friends with a trouble light so you can find out where the shorts are because the electrical boxes and the fuse boxes and all this, it's like Volkswagen. They're not the best electrical harnesses back in those days. And when things dry out, everything tries to dry out. But the good news is this person's an enthusiast, and it sounds like he's been on the car with some things that he noted that still needs to be done. So, and there's another side of the car. So car looks nice. Again, that bumper looks like it was poop. Somebody hit it up there a little bit. So, but a nice car. As far as price goes, $8,000. I'm sure it's still sitting there for $8,000. I see this car to be a $5,000 car. So, I'm $5,000. He's $8,000. We're $3,000 away. That's pretty significant. But if you show up and you show some respect for him owning the car for so long, and you have a conversation about what needs to be done, and if the lights aren't working because there might be a short, I'm sure if you have $5,000 cash, I think you're going to find somebody that's at least welcome to talk to you. And I don't know, maybe $6,000 buys this car, but that would depend on how much rust is on the car. So based on the description and what I'm looking at, I'm seeing this car to be like a $5,000, maybe $5,500 car that I would buy, enjoy, and just have fun with. I wouldn't do any of the body work. I would just, put studded tires and head up north to the ski slopes and drive around with a for sale sign all the time, and see if somebody else will give me more. So, but a nice car. So that's the car here. I will leave this slide up so you can see the slide. So if you want to try to find this car is on Facebook Marketplace. It's in Massachusetts. You can look up that item number. I'll leave this slide up at the very end so you can look at that further. So thanks very much for joining us here on Rob's Car World. I added a Patreon channel now, so if you'd like to subscribe and be a subscriber member to this page with Patreon, I have a couple of member benefits that I added, and that involves, inspecting cars that you might be interested in and such. So there are some nice benefits in joining my Patreon channel subscribers, and it'll be fun to have more subscribers on there as well. So if you like this page, just please thumbs up and subscribe and pass along to friends that love cars. This is Rob Loferese. Thanks for joining us on Rob's Car World. We'll see you here.